Today we're going to discover what the Power 9 of Pioneer is. So we're going to look at a bunch of candidate cards, and I'm going to have the coffee crew vote on them to see which ones are the actual Power 9. Now I'm going to start off with a card that probably could be Power 9, might even be Power 10 in regular Magic the Gathering. Treasure Cruise! This card is absolutely insane! It's Ancestor Recall, for crying out loud. Everyone who plays this is just going to just pay it for 1 blue, draw 3 cards. Oh, is there a downside? Well, yeah, sort of. For 7 generic mana that you can delve away, it still costs like 1 mana. I don't usually see anyone paying full retail for this, but you can. I mean, yeah, you could go into the late game with, I don't know, 2 cards in your graveyard and 6 mana up. Still works all the same. You're right, Sheelan. It danger. This card, absolutely danger. It's definitely, so I definitely think it should be a candidate for the Power 9. It's also a card that's literally banned in almost every format except Pioneer. Oh, this is not big enough. We need bigger letters. Bigger is better. That is for YouTube. So anyway, I think Treasure Cruise absolutely should be a candidate. Now, Sheelan also says, Shieldred the Apocalypse. This is a card that sees play in and out of black decks in like all formats. Black, 2 generic, 4/5. Phyrexian Praetor with Death Touch. But whenever you draw a card, you gain 2 life. But the problem is whenever your opponent draws a card, they lose 2. So very quickly, this becomes an insane clock. Not to mention, if you have this thing on the battlefield and the board is gummed up, which happens all the time in Pioneer, I mean, the more time that goes on, your opponent gets drained and you gain. So you're just slowly getting the game further out of contention of your opponent, and you're getting clearly in a safety zone. So I have no problem with Shieldred the Apocalypse being on this list. Okay, next up. Ooh, great call, David Howard, with Nykthos. Shrine to Nyx. I did not spell that right. Nykthos. Too many E's over there. So, Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx, legendary land, tap, add a colorless to your mana pool, pay 2, tap, choose a color, add to your mana pool an amount of mana that of that color equal to your devotion to that color. Now, if you're a huge fan of Ramp, making a lot of mana, going crazy with casting a bunch of spells, playing something for 30 mana, Mono Green Devotion is for you, because that's exactly what Nykthos Shrine to Nyx does. In fact, I think they've banned like something to the range of 5 or more cards from the Mono Green Devotion deck just to keep this card around. Like, it's obviously the glue. It's the glue holding on to the Mono Green Devotion deck. They've banned Karn the Great Creator. I think they banned they definitely banned Karn the Great Creator. I'm drawing a blank on the ban list. I haven't looked at that Pioneer ban list for a while. So anyway, they're not touching Nykthos, because they're like, if this card goes, the whole deck goes. But anyway, it might as well be the Black Lotus of the format. So I like the suggestion. Nykthos Shrine to Nyx. Excellent suggestion. We already it's going. We already did it. It's already here. Shadow Walker with Fable the Mirror Breaker. Now, interestingly enough, Wizards has already put the warning sign on this card. They already said, hey, we might ban it. Why do they might ban it? It's a red 2 generic Saga, Chapter 1, create a 2/2 Goblin Shaman. Then when it attacks, you get a treasure token. Also, Chapter 2, you may discard up to 2 cards if you do draw that many cards. That's great value. So no matter what matchup you're in, it's very easy to dump the cards that are bad to draw fresh ones. And then Chapter 3, you got yourself a Kiki Jiki. Now, it's got Summoning Sickness, but don't worry, by next turn, it basically is a Kiki Jiki by paying 1, tap and making a token of another target non-legendary creature. By the way, this card is not legendary, so you can't copy itself, but if you have 2 of them out, they can copy each other. And then you get a 2/2 in play for each one of these. It's a really good card. Splash, I mean, this is a multi-format all-star. So he's playing standard. Sorry, isn't it? It's banned in standard, right? It used to... Oh no, it's not legal in standard. It's not legal in standard anymore. Okay, I can't remember what status was in standard. C's great play in Pioneer, Modern, Legacy. You better have that thing for Commander. I mean, it's like 2 creatures in one, and it loots. What can I say? What can I say? Fable the Mirror Breaker. Definitely deserves the list. Okay, next up, we got our first super chat of the day coming from Elixir, the Boseiju who endures. You like Boseiju, do you? Boseiju who endures. The Disenchant on a land. Absolute banger card. Legendary land, tap to add a green. I mean, how can you build a deck without this card in 2024? Like, every Commander deck needs this. Every Modern deck needs this. Every Pioneer deck needs this. You can discard it from your hand. It's a channel effect, so you can't even counter it. Counter spells? I say no to your counter spells. Unless it's a stifle effect. Destroy target artifact or enchantment or non-basic land an opponent controls. That player may search their library for a land card. For a land card with basic land type, which means it can be shock lands or dual lands. Put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. The ability costs 1 less for each legendary creature you control. So it deals with Nick those Shrine to Nyx. Weirdly deals with Fable the Mirror Breaker. It's going to feel bad value. They're still going to have that Goblin token in play. It's an absolutely phenomenal card. Yeah, okay. So, Boseiju, who endures. What's going to make this show interesting is I don't think a whole lot of you play Pioneer. So these are all going to be voted on by people who dominantly play Commander or something else. Benjamin, I was about to disqualify you. Deathrite Shaman. I was about to disqualify. I was about to say, Benjamin, don't you know Deathrite Shaman is banned? And then I just thought to myself, wait a minute, it's actually completely legal in Pioneer. Deathrite Shaman for Golgari, 1/2 Elf Shaman. So tap, exile target land from a graveyard, add 1 mana of any color. Now this is the broken part of this card. Because in Vintage, Legacy, Modern, what they do is they crack your fetch lands, and this is basically a mana dork on steroids. But here's the thing. All the fetch lands in Pioneer are banned. So they are not legal. All the good ones, at least. You know, you can have the crappy fetch lands. Those are all legal. So this card, it has no power. Deathrite Shaman, you have no power here in Pioneer. So I don't even know why this would make the list. I don't know a single deck that actually plays Deathrite Shaman. It's pretty bad. Like, I would imagine it should be good in some decks. Should be a sideboard card, probably. Pay a black, exile target instant or sorcery card from a graveyard. Each opponent loses 2 life. Or pay a green, tap, exile target creature card from a graveyard. You gain 2 life. This made me just realize I could play this in my Simic Merfolk deck. I didn't think about that. And I could use this creature part to exile a creature card. I also can exile lands. This is like an excellent play versus Phoenix decks. It's got me thinking. It's got me I'm thinking about things right now. All right, good luck, Deathrite Shaman, when you get to the voting part. We got Morgan Veramis with the Wandering Emperor or Thoughtseize. How about Thoughtseize? As far as I'm concerned, this is literally Gitaxian Probe for the format, but better. It's a black sorcery. Target player reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card, and you lose 2 life. So for the low cost of 1 mana, and by the way, there's not a lot of things to do for 1 mana in this format. If you look at a lot of the decks, they're just passing the turn on turn 1 because they just can't fill their deck with enough 1-drops because they're just garbage. You might as well just do nothing on turn 1 so you can have better things to do on the later turns. So Thoughtseize is like a really good way to fill the cracks, interact with your opponent's hand, and you have perfect information. So anyway, Gitaxian Probe banned in tons of formats. This is basically Gitaxian Probe for this format. Not every black deck plays it, but like basically half of them do. So I think Thoughtseize, great include for on this list. Next up, where is? Oh, I did that super chat. All right, yeah, wait. Treasure Cruise is on the list. Sorry, I did it first. I snatched it from all of you. I swiped it from you all. Let's get one from Cohen, the Fatal Push. Fatal Push is it's actually like the best removal spell in the format for a black instant. Destroy target creature if it has converted mana cost 4 or less. Sorry, destroy target creature if it has converted mana cost 2 or less, but if you have Revolt, it destroys a creature with converted mana cost 4 or less. Funny thing is, because there's no fetch lands, it's hard to get Revolt online, so a lot of Pioneer decks have to be a little bit more creative about how to make this work, like cracking a treasure token, maybe sacrificing a creature, or cracking a blood token in order to get the Revolt online. Not so easy. Not as easy as people want it to be, but is probably the premier removal spell in the format. Definitely one of the more popular ones. Nightshade. Let's look at Kutzil. What's Kutzil? Kutzil, the Malamet Exemplar. Is this a new card coming out for this? What is this card? Okay, we have a white-green, 1 generic, 3/3 Cat Warrior. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. Whenever one or more creatures you control, each with power greater than its base power, deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Does this see play? Was this part of the Selesnya deck? I don't remember. Anyway, I have no commentary on this card. I mean, it's good. There's nothing wrong with it. While it's your turn, your opponents they can't do squat. Also, is an excellent collected company target on the battlefield, or something to collected company into play at end of turn. Shadow Walker is like, I've never seen that card. Neither have I. But you know what? It's going to be voted on. Okay, what is this called? It's Kutzil. Kutzil. The Exemplar. Isn't it brand new? It's not super brand spanking new. I mean, it's a Lost Caverns of Ixalan card. Bryce, we did Fable. Fable has been done. Elixir, I love Pioneer, the Bone Crusher Giant. Another multi-format all-star. You need to kill that. It's interesting. Okay, so it's a 3-mana 4/3 giant with Stomp as an adventure for a red and 1 generic. Damage can't be prevented this turn and going to deal 2 damage to any target. And then as a 4/3 creature for 3 mana, whenever it becomes the target of a spell, Bone Crusher Giant deals 2 damage to that spell's controller. So a lot of value packed into this card. An interesting thing about the format is it's actually got a bunch of chunky creatures. For the most part, like, I don't know how to describe it, but like a lot of these creatures have a lot of toughness, so the Stomp doesn't kill everything. It's weirdly balanced in that way. Otherwise, you know, this 2-mana thing would kill off a lot of stuff. Bone Crusher Giant. Next up, let's take a look at we did Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Tommy said it was Yorion. Okay, let's take a look at Yorion. Yorion, a card deep, but it's funny, you know, I sort of walked. I was in a Pioneer tournament. My opponent's deck was enormous, and I'm like, is Yorion legal in this format? It's banned in Modern, but no, it's completely legal. So it's a companion. If you have 80, you have to have 80 cards in your deck. Or 80 or more? Is it 80 or more? Contains at least, yeah, it's going to be 80 or more. At least 20 more cards than what your starting deck total is supposed to be. 4 or 5 flyer for 5 mana. Can be played in blue or white decks. And when it enters the battlefield, exile any number of non-land permanents you own and control. Return those cards to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step. So if you don't mind expanding your deck to 20 more cards, a card is gas. So the whole deal is that if you can play with a companion, you're basically playing Commander in competitive Magic. And that 1 extra card can do your opponent in big time. I think Commander players don't realize how good they have it, that they are guaranteed a card in their opening hand, and generally speaking, you're building your entire deck around it. Same thing with Yorion. So if you want to play Commander in competitive Magic, build a Yorion deck. That's how you do it. Fun fact, you are not allowed to use Yorion as a companion in Commander because of the rules. Yeah, I know, it's weird. I was like, why can't I have a 119 card deck? That's so strange. Yorion not allowed in Commander. So if you really want to play Yorion and feel like you're playing Commander, I mean, you can play 99 cards. Just show up to a Pioneer event. I've got a 99 card deck. It's perfectly fine. They'll welcome you with open arms. Yorn really shouldn't be banned in Modern. It's embarrassing to have this banned. At the time, it was a pretty good deck. I don't know how good it would be these days, though. I don't know if it would stand the test of time, especially with all the powerful Modern Horizons 3 cards. Okay, we got... did I do a freebie? Was that last one with Super Chat? No, it wasn't. All right. Got Bell here. Thanks so much, Bell. Slick Shot Show Off. Absolutely insane. I hate this. I absolutely hate this card. It boils my blood. It's a 2-mana 1/2 Flying Haste Bird Wizard. And when you cast a non-creature spell, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So if you can spit off a bunch of spells in one turn, I mean, it gets crazy enormous. You can't even block the damn thing. At least with Kiln Fiend, you can chump block that stupid thing. This might as well say trample instead of flying. So it just flies right over. Ah! And also you can plot it. So you can plot for 2 mana. So if if you're a red deck and your opponent has 2 islands in play and they're like, oh, I'm holding up. They're holding up 2 mana. You can just plot it and then play it next turn and hopefully overload the counter spells. Anyway, this card, I actually think this card's busted. This is like a card that I low-key want banned, but like I don't think there's any shot of it ever getting banned, if you know what I mean. It's like, man, I want this card banned. It's probably never gonna happen though. Welcome, Arte. Welcome to the show. Okay, next up, let's go with Benjamin with Arclight Phoenix. Interesting suggestion. So what is more dangerous? Is it the Arclight Phoenix, or is it all the cards that help facilitate the Arclight Phoenix? 4 mana, 3/2 Phoenix, Flying Haste at the beginning of combat on your turn. If you cast 3 or more instant sorcery spells this turn, return Arclight Phoenix from your graveyard to the battlefield. So between Picklock Prankster and, Consider, Lightning Axe, a bunch of other discard outlets, very easy to get the Arclight Phoenix into the graveyard. And if you rattle off enough cards, including Treasure Cruise, they're all going to come back at once. Wipe the board, and it's easy to bring the whole board right back again. After all, they're phoenixes. They rise from the ashes. And the whole deck is built around that card. Arclight Phoenix. I don't think Skull Clamp is legal in Pioneer. I don't think it's legal. That is not a Pioneer legal card. Phoenix kind of sucks if you don't play a deck completely devoted to getting them into the yard. Oh yeah, absolutely. But then, Treasure Cruise sucks if you don't build a deck built around drawing 3 cards or getting a bunch of cards into the graveyard either. We did Shieldred, Bryce. Just a quick look at the cards that we've already done. Treasure Cruise, Shieldred, Nykthos, Fable, Boseiju, Deathrite Shaman, Thoughtseize, Fiddle Push, Kootzil, Bone Crusher, Yorin, Slickshot. And many more to go. Have we done Collected Company? Collected Company, a fantastic card. It's a staple. It's a green 3 generic instant. Look at the top 6 cards of your library. Put up to 2 creature cards with converted mana cost 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So either you're playing just a decent value deck, whether it be like, could be Bant Spirits, could be Selesnya Angels. That's good stuff. Otherwise, you could be up against a combo deck, and you're gambling whether they're going to hit their combo pieces or not. So anyway, Collected Company sees a ton of play, big staple of the format. Sees a lot of cross archetype play as well. Michael Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. Lotus Field not already being on here is criminal with all due respect. Well, you could have said Lotus Field, but you said Teferi. 5 mana for the 4 loyalty Teferi. +1, draw a card at the beginning of your next end step. Untap 2 lands. -3, put target non-land permanent into its owner's library, 3rd from the top. And also -8, you get an emblem with whenever you draw a card, exile target permanent an opponent controls. Can also be played in some of those blue-white Nykthos decks. But in addition to that, it's just like, well, Teferi Time Raveler is banned. This is like the next best Teferi that you're going to want to put in your deck. It's a great value engine. It answers anything on the board. If you don't answer the Teferi, it's going to completely run away with the game. Teferi of Hero of Dominaria. The Teferi. The dominate all other Teferis. Okay, for Genka says Lotus Field, since I heard it should be people taking got some advice from some other people. Oh, Lotus Field, hexproof. Lotus Field enters the battlefield tapped. When Lotus Field enters the battlefield, sacrifice 2 lands. Tap, add 3 mana of any color. I mean, you know what? Okay, I said earlier on that Nykthos was the Black Lotus of the format. I'm totally wrong. This is the Black Lotus of the format. And it's literally Black Lotus every single turn. On top of that, like, perfectly timed, Teferi can also untap the damn the Lotus Field. So this Lotus Field is a huge bomb. There's 2 different types of decks that like to play Lotus Field. Either control decks that can abuse playing this, untapping this card over and over again. Or there's also a Lotus Field combo deck that makes use of hidden strings and other cards that untap your Lotus Field to tap it for more mana and combo off with a ton of mana. So Lotus Field is probably the Black Lotus here. The Black Lotus of Pioneer. Unlicensed hearse? That's a bit of a dubious one. I don't know that. Unlicensed hearse. I didn't spell that properly here. As unlicensed hearse, a power 9 card, 2 mana for a star vehicle. Tap, exile up to 2 target cards from a single graveyard. Unlicensed hearse power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards exiled with it. Crew 2. So this is a super popular card in Pioneer because there's a lot of graveyard-centric decks, whether you got your Arclight Phoenix, your Grease Fang, whether you got your Rakdos Sacrifice, you know, those Cat Oven decks. There is a lot of, I mean, basically almost every deck uses the graveyard to some capacity, whether you're trying to keep like Delirium, Delve down from Dig Through Time, or Treasure Cruise. So there's a lot of application, I'm not gonna lie. But no one's gonna like play, I don't know, maybe it should be in the main deck of some deck. I'm not sure. Is this like a main deck worthy card? It's usually a card that you're bringing in, but its power is only equal to the amount of power that your opponent is trying to put up against you. Yeah, this is Satyr Wayfinder decks, that's right. Well, I don't know if that, maybe that was a card suggestion. Rakdos Prowess doesn't play Leyline in Pioneer. Yeah, it's true, actually. I'm going to talk about that. Anyway, unlicensed hearse. We're going to put that. That's going to be put up to everybody. I'm just going to put hearse. All right, next up, let's take a look like Bryce with Leyline of the Guild Pact. This is not nearly as exciting in Pioneer as it is in the other formats. So if it's in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. Each non-land permanent you control is all colors, and lands you control are every basic land type in addition to other types. This is played, I don't know, is there another deck that plays this? I'm only familiar with like the mono green Devotion deck, and they like this card because it's a random 4 Devotion card you can just throw onto the battlefield. And then like turn 1 Mana Dork, turn 2 Nykthos, and you have got like crazy amounts of mana. It's just you're just like basically comboing off at this point. Anyway, Leyline of the Guild Pact. Oh, Arclight Phoenix fell very far from home. Okay, hold on. Leyline of the Guild Pact. Cool. Actually, just a bad card outside of Devotion. As of yet. Maybe one day it'll be good. Benjamin Berkeley with Duress. Got a lot of cards, Benjamin. Who hasn't got a card yet? You got to start telling me no card yet. It's Duress. Target opponent reveals their hand. You may choose a non-land, non-creature card from it. That player discards that card. Simply, it's like the Thoughtseize number 2. Thoughtseize number 2 of the format. We don't have Inquisition of Kozilek. We got to go to Duress. Dinglebag with Supreme Victory. Supreme Verdict. The blue, white, 1 generic sorcery sweeper. This spell can't be countered. Destroy all them creatures. If you have counter spells in your deck, which a lot of people do, a lot of blue decks out there, a lot of Rakdos decks too. But if you do have them counter spells, then nothing will survive the Supreme Verdict. Although I have to say, like, this isn't always the best sweeper, because sometimes you want to exile the cards. As we said, the graveyard-centric format. The more graveyard-centric it is, the harder it is to keep those creatures down. But still, very good removal spell. Elixir with the Reckoner, the Reckoner Bank Buster. Value tap. Isn't this card banned in Standard or something? It's not legal in Standard anymore. I swear it was banned in Standard, which shocked the crap out of me. 2-mana 4/4 vehicle. Enters a battlefield with 3 charge counters on it. Pay 2, tap, remove a charge counter from Reckoner Bank Buster to draw a card. Then if there are no charge counters on Reckoner Bank Buster, create a treasure token and a 1/1 colorless pilot token with this creature cruise vehicles as though its power were 2 or greater. Which means hopefully it can pilot this Reckoner Bank Buster. So I don't have much to say about it. It's just a good value card. You can see it in a lot of sideboards, and it will definitely grind out the decks where card advantage matters. Reckoner Bank Buster. Bust them banks! Just like Doc Ock. It did get banned in Standard? That is so weird. So strange. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. We did Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Yeah, Triumphs? Are they that good? Maybe. Okay, well, let's look at one Triumph. We'll put it as a complete blank, like, blanket cycle. The Triumphs! Island, Mountain, Plains. Help. I mean, there's a lot of multicolor decks in Pioneer, because there's no land hate. There's no Wasteland, no, like, Blood Moon, Back to Basics, Harbinger of the Seas, Magus of the Moon. There's none of that stuff in this format. So you are free to play a 5-color deck all you want. The Rogran Triumph definitely helps facilitate that. Okay, Triumphs. Pretty cool suggestion, actually. We got Fatal Push. Toilet Dock with the Dazzling Theater. I don't think this card sees play. Or did it see? Is it a new card that sees play? 4 mana. Creatures spells you cast have Convoke. Prop Room. Untap each creature you control during each other player's untap step. I don't know a single deck that plays this. Dazzling Theater. I'd disqualify it if I knew the format I know the format well. I know it a little bit less well because they just made a huge banning, and now, like, there's a bunch of new decks. I don't know what the hell are in these things. Kroger Games. I'm not familiar with the format. Yagra, Eater of all. That is actually this is actually literally a Pioneer playable card. Believe it or not. You could play it in the deck. Played in Cat Oven. If not, I don't know, give it to somebody else. I think it's played in more than just Cat Oven. The 5-mana 6/6 Cat Elemental with Ward, Sack of Food. Other creatures are food, artifacts, in addition to other types, and have pay 2, tap, sack the permanent, you gain 3 life. Whenever a food is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put 2 +1/+1 counters on Yagra, Eater of All. Yagra! Memory Deluge! Excellent card advantage. It's basically super factor fiction. 4 mana instant, lure the top X cards of your library, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast this spell. Put 2 of them into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And it's got flashback for 7 mana. So which means you're going to get 4 cards over the course of a game for 1 card. Memory Deluge. Julian, you really want to get Spell Pierce on there? It sees serious play. No, don't get me wrong. Be a blue instant, counter targets non-creature spell unless its controller pays 2. I honestly don't even think it's one of the best counter spells out there. Spell Pierce. Sees a lot of play, though. Hunter loves the flashback with Memory Deluge. Changing X cost is cool. Oh yeah, it gets more busted as time goes on. To be fair, the deck is called Cat Oven, so it's probably either the cat or the or the oven that's power 9. Yeah. Okay, Ottawara, the Soaring City. I called it Otawara. Oats. Eat your oats, people. Otawara, legendary land. Tap for a blue, but also a channel. For a blue 3 generic. Return target artifact, creature, enchantment, or planeswalker to its owner's hand. The ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control. So just basically a land that can bounce all the problematic cards. Otawara, Soaring City. Okay, we're gonna look at a few more cards before we vote it all out. But before we get to that, we gotta thank our sponsor today, FusionGamingOnline.com. Right now they're having a website update, but if you're watching this on the replay, the website's probably already been updated. Duskmore and House of Orders have come out. If you need to get them new hot singles, Fusion Gaming's got them for you. And don't forget, if you want to support the channel, you might want to buy from FusionGamingOnline.com because buying from them supports me, especially when you use coupon code Nikachu at checkout to get 5% off all your purchases. So support yourself or something. Buy something for your commander deck. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. For Magic Online, play every format: Standard, Pioneer, Modern, Legacy, Vintage. You ever want to play Vintage? The cards aren't cost that much, especially when you have the whole card pool rented to you with Mana Traders. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below. Save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_QTP. Not to mention, you can play Commander on Magic Online. Play Commander. Dual Commander. It's a thing these days. It's a real thing. Okay, back to the cards. Okay, what are we missing here? We got some super chats. You want multicolor lands? Mana Confluence. The City of Brass. Especially in a format where it's hard to get your mana out because you don't have access to fetch lands. Remember, they're banned. Cards like this are important. Tap to pay 1 life, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Depending on the deck, you really want that mana Confluence. I can't see what I'm doing. It's hard. Oh, look. I found some typos everywhere. Okay, let's get maybe, how many sections do we got here? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's get an 8th one. Oh no, we need more. Yeah, we need at least 8 more cards. Elvish Mystic from Christopher B. You know, I was always told by Commander players, I asked them, what if they banned like Soul Ring and Mana Crypt and stuff? And they're like, well, that'd be terrible because green would just take over the game. I don't know if that's true, but certainly Mana Dorks are pretty damn good in Pioneer. Like I said earlier, there is not many 1-drops. But the one thing that you do have access to in green is 1-drops. Basically, this is the Soul Ring. The Soul Ring of Pioneer. Green 1/1, tapped out of green. And they have access to, I believe, 8 of these? I think they have access to 8 of these things. Yeah, no more Mana Vault. No, Mana Vault is legal. You got Mana Vault. You have no Mana Crypt or Jeweled Lotus. So anyway, this is easily the Soul Ring of Pioneer. Elvish Mystic. Love that suggestion. Great suggestion. We got another super chat from Dangerous One. Boseiju / we did both of them. Oh no. Dangerous. We did both of those. You had a backup and everything. Niv Mizzet, do you wanna? I'm sorry, I gotta disqualify that one. Now, okay, how about this one? How about this one, Wes? There is a Niv Mizzet that sees play. It's not the Perun, though. It's Niv Mizzet Reborn. Niv Mizzet Found Religion. It's a 5-mana 6/6 dragon avatar flying. When Niv Mizzet Reborn enters the battlefield, reveal the top 10 cards of your library. For each color pair, choose a card that's exactly those colors from among them. Put the chosen cards into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. It's like this big mid-range control deck. It's actually really strong. So basically you empty your hand and then you play Niv Mizzet Reborn, refill your hand, and they're not coming back. And they may be dead before they can come back from it at all. It's a 6/6 flyer, for crying out loud. So we'll put Niv Mizzet on here. Niv Mizzet Reborn. Kurokoro Games, if they banned all the fast artifacts, then yes, I agree with you. Nikachu Green would win Commander. I doubt it. People would just play a lot. You can adjust. You just play a lot more spot removal to deal with that stuff. Spectral Maniac with Kumano faces Kakazan. A new weird saga. 1-mana sagas. They're really pushing the game around here, people. Power creep. Chapter 1. Is this the only... How many 1-mana sagas are there? Okay, anyway, on Chapter 1, deals 1 damage to each opponent and each planeswalker they control. Chapter 2, when you cast your next creature, comes into play with a +1/+1 counter. And also Chapter 3, you get to exile this card and return to the battlefield transformed into a 2/2 hazed creature. And if a creature dealt damage this turn by a source you controlled would die, exile it instead. Okay, so basically, yes, we'll put Kumano on here. Turn 1 spot removal is rare if non-existent. What? Hey, that's a deck building problem, you know? Don't be blaming the mana dorks. Blame your deck building. Nolan with Nylia's Presence. Can you feel Nylia around here? It's a 2-mana aura enchant land. When it enters the battlefield, you get to draw a card. An enchanted land is every basic land type in addition to its other types. I can't remember what decks play this. I don't... Is every basic land... Is it the Devotion decks? I don't think so. But I don't remember either. Oh, it was the Yorion decks, I think. Because you can blink this thing. If you... I think it was the Yorion decks that wanted to play this. Okay, no. There's Yorion decks. I think the Incarnation decks, the enchantment decks. Yeah, so it's a good value card. Okay, Nylia's Presence. It's probably a more hot card now. This Incarnation deck got really big. Next up, do we have enough? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All right, I think it's time. It's time. You want to get Monstrous Rage in here? Okay, we'll get Monster. Oh, God. Okay, it looks like we're going to have one more. Okay, Mutavault. Does he play? Mutavault! You can find it in the Humans deck. You can find it in the Merfolk deck. Not that a lot of people play the Merfolk deck. And I think you also find it in the mid-range decks. It's just a good versatile land. It's a 2/2 creature that you can animate for 1 generic mana. Mutavault. And then we're going to get to Monstrous Rage. Monstrous Rage is a red instant. Actually, this is basically the lightning bolt of the format. Target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Create a monster roll token, which means it gets +1/+1 and has trample. So it's basically +3/+1 and trample onto the creature, making blocks like just near damn impossible. Monstrous Rage. Have we done the Power 9 of Planeswalkers? Oh, that's interesting. Of choice standard environments? I don't think we've done anything for, like, very specific standard environments. Monstrous Rage is probably the best trick in the format. Well, we got it. You do Wandering Emperor. We did not Wandering Emperor. Arguably the best Planeswalker in... Or is it the best Planeswalker? Is one of the top Planeswalkers. Is either the best or one of the top Planeswalkers in the format. I mean, it's literally a flash speed Planeswalker. It gets you out of nowhere. 3 loyalty, flash. If it enters the battlefield this turn, you may activate a loyalty ability as though it were an instant. +1, put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature. It gains first strike until end of turn. Or the most common one is -2. Exile target tap creature, you gain 2 life. And also -2, create a 2/2 white samurai creature token with vigilance. Wandering Emperor. The Emperor. What else? What are we missing here? Okay, we'll put Mystical Dispute. This is like a super hardcore staple. Mystical Dispute. Benjamin, it's your lucky day. You got like 3 cards. Some people out there didn't even get 1. Okay, it's a 3 mana instant, but here, so it counters a spell unless its controller pays 3. But here's the deal. If it targets a blue spell, it only costs 1. And those blue players...
No, God, please, no.
But then if you play another Mystical Dispute against their Mystical Dispute...
No, God, please, no.
You can get into that Mystical Dispute war over here. Big Mystical Dispute war. Okay. We got everything. Let's start. Let's enter our voting phase. It's time to vote. Actually, do I want to vote with this music? Okay, we're gonna start off with the Mystical Dispute. Go on, it's voting time. Start poll. This is the important part. Remember, this is being voted on by like a bunch of Commander players and like random casual players. Okay, so we're gonna start. Okay, what is Power 9? Mutavault. Monstrous Rage. The Wandering Emperor. And also Mystical Dispute. Vote away! Remember, Mystical Dispute, the 1-mana counterspell against the blue cards. We also have the Wandering Emperor, the flash speed planeswalker that can just say, oh, you're attacking? Boop. No, you're not attacking anyone. You're gone. Also, we've got Monstrous Rage, the basically 1-mana lightning bolt that protects creatures that are attacking. Make no mistake. How about Mox Amber? Strangely, that card sees no play. I think except for like the most fringe of fringe decks. That is weird, right? Like the card definitely sees play in a lot of other formats. Not really in Pioneer. It has not found its home. And lastly, the last card, Mutavault. The land that you can put in a large variety of decks, and it can become a 2/2 creature. Really good value. Old boy said, hey, I watch at least 2 Pioneer videos every month nowadays. Oh, interesting. All right, we have an expert on Pioneer right over here, old boy. Old boy is our Pioneer expert. All right, what do we got here? Ooh, Mutavault and Monstrous Rage, neck and neck. But Mutavault comes out ahead. I can't believe that. Oh my god, Mutavault beats out Monstrous Rage after a minute. Unbelievable. Mutavault is going to move on to the Power 9. All right, next up, we've got... Start a poll. We're going to be voting on Elvish Mystic, Niv Mizzet Reborn, Kumano, think something of Kakazan, Kumano, and then also Nyla's Presence. The Card Advantage Engine. So just a reminder, Nyla's Presence, 2 mana, Aura, Enchant Land, ETB, draw a card. That is worth blinking in the future. We also have Kumano Faces of Kakazan. Turn 1, deal 1 damage, and in 2 more turns, you have a 2/2 haster. Also, Niv Mizzet Reborn! For 5 mana, basically huge card advantage engine, 6/6 dragon. It's also an avatar. I'm surprised. At what point does Niv Mizzet not a god? And then Elvish Mystic. It's small, but you know what? There's big things come in small packages. It's the 1 mana dork. Basically the soul ring of the format. Well, at least I'm not alone in having basically 0 info on this format. Oh yeah, you're not the only one, that's for sure. Benjamin Berkeley is like, Elvish Mystic will win easily. Well, it's way out in front, I will say that. So Elvish Mystic, super ahead in front. Even Commander players understand the power of Birds of Paradise on turn 1. Big respect for birds. Bop, still good even in 2024. And after 1 minute, Elvish Mystic, congratulations! You make the Power 9. For the time being. Okay, next up, we got a vote on Memory Deluge. Memory Deluge. Spell Pierce. For the counterspell fiends out there. Otawara. Soaring City. A lot of blue cards on this one. And Mana Confluence. Actually, correct. A lot of lands on here, too. Okay, for a reminder, we got Mana Confluence. It is the City of Brass of... it's the City of Brass of the format, I guess. Unless you don't know what City of Brass is, then Mana Confluence is the Mana Confluence of the format. Then we have Otawara, the blue land that bounces things. We also have Spell Pierce, the simple blue counterspell. For 1 mana, counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 2, which is important, actually, in Pioneer. Hits the enchantment, hits planeswalkers, hits instants and sorceries. It's a little bit more of a clunky format out there. And also Memory Deluge. Super Factor Fiction. For 4 mana, you get 2 cards, and then for Flashback, you get a way better 2 more cards. So it's like 4 cards in 1. Always push the Mystic. Always push the Mystic. Always stomp the dork. Otawara, super out in front. People love their Otawaras. People love their lands. I'm a huge land stan myself. I've been loving lands since I started playing Magic the Gathering. What a horrible thing it was to learn that Ponzo was an archetype in existence. All right, Otawara, congratulations. You are making it on. You are moving on to the Power 9. And you deserve it. All right, next poll is going to feature a bunch of weird ones. We have the Reckoner Bankbuster. Reckoner Bankbuster. We have the Triomes, which helps smooth out your mana bases. The Dazzling Theater, which I never heard of. We're going to have at least one vote on that one for the Dazzling Theater. And Yagra, Eater of All. It's a Hungry Hippo. Does anyone who knows what Hungry Hippos are? So, Yagra, like I said, Hungry Hippo. 5 mana, 6/6. It's got Ward, Sack of Food. Turns all your opponent's stuff into food. And you know what? Yagra's hungry. Gonna eat everything like a buffet. Also, we have the Dazzling Theater. What does it even do? For 4 mana, creature spells you cast have Convoke. I would imagine at this point you don't even need that ability. Then you have Prop Room. For 3 mana, untap each creature you control during each other player's untap step. That is a very interesting card, I would say. And then lastly, the Triome. So we have Triomes. Who doesn't like a good Triome? You can cycle it. I forgot. You flooding out? Cycle your Triome. Get another card out of it. And then lastly, the Reckoner Bankbuster. 2 mana, 4/4 creature. Enters the battlefield with 3 charge counters. And for each charge counter, you can pay 2, remove it, and get a card out of it. And then you have a party in the end after the 3rd one is lifted. Ooh, Triomes and Reckoner Bankbuster. Super out at very close. Oh, no! I ended it too soon. We tied it up. Okay, we have to break the tie. Damn, we need a tiebreaker poll. It changed right at the last second. Okay, Reckoner Bankbuster and Triomes. We got to do that again. So many 1990s references. Well, I am a millennial. I am trying to... you know what, though? I'm trying to speak to the new age group of people. I'm learning the way of the Zoomer. This Reckoner Bankbuster, it's bussin'. All right? It's bussin'. It no cap. This card is great. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? This pool is the weakest. Hey, you know, some people... Hey, in modern Triomes, they are broken. They enable some really stupid crap. No Nikachu just to know. No, don't worry. My brain, it's already been affected by brain rot, let me tell you. This stuff, what else did I learn from the Gen Alpha and the Zoomers? They have a lot of great lingo. Yeah, what's up? No, what's up, fellow Zoomers? It's not coming to me, but I'm gonna be more fluent in it soon. Okay, you know what slays? It's the Triomes. The Triomes won. The Triomes, they've won it all. Congratulations. Okay, it was a close one, but Triumphs take the trophy to move on to our Power 9. Okay, next up, we've got an interesting one with Arclight Phoenix. Arclight Phoenix, the big bird. Ley line of the guild. Oops, what's going on here? Of the guild pact. We also have Duress. And Supreme Verdict. Which is funny, like, if you look at a control deck, if you take a look at control decks, this is not the only sweeper they play. Some of them don't even play Supreme Verdict, but it's still a playable sweeper. Then, of course, you have Duress, just another additional hand discard card. Hey, there's a lot of matchups. You need more than Thoughtseize to get the job done. So Duress, you get Duress peeks away at there. Leyline of the Guild Pact, basically make the green devotion decks even more impactful. Oops. And then lastly we have and then Arclight Phoenix. Here, hold on. Can I put here? Arclight Phoenix. Basically one of the best creatures in the format because it can be built around Treasure Cruise to basically fly in. You know what's interesting? We have Treasure Cruise but we don't have Dig Through Time on this list. That is so weird. Arclight Phoenix. We haven't hit a minute though. So there's still a chance Leyline of the Guild Pact or Duress wins, although it doesn't look very good. And Arclight Phoenix, congratulations. You're a Power 9 card. I always knew you had it. I always knew you had it in you. Okay, next up, we've got Collected Company. Some of these are going to be really tight. Collected Company. Into Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. Lotus Field. Some cards are going to get done dirty here. And then Unlicensed Hearse. Ugh. How do I spell Unlicensed Hearse? I just wrote Hearse. Unlicensed Hearse? That's how it works? Okay. There we go. It's non-rotating, like Modern, so its cutoff is like past Ravnica. Yeah, I think the cutoff was like it's Cons of Tarkir and onwards. Except no fetch lines allowed. Alright, Unlicensed Hearse. What a weird card to have on the list. 2 mana, tap, exile 2 target cards from a graveyard. And also it can be crewed to turn into a big creature. Lotus Field! The Black Lotus of the format. Sort of. You do have to sacrifice 2 lands, but then you get to tap it for 3 mana of any color every other turn. Teferi, Hero of Dominaria! Probably one of the most dangerous planeswalkers. If you pass the turn and don't deal with this thing after it entered the battlefield, the game is probably over. And also Collected Company. Instant. Look at the top 6 cards of your library. Put 2 creature cards with converted mana cost 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Verkinko's like, this one is going to be rough. Yeah, like good cards are about to go gonzo. That's the problem. When you front load the show with all the good cards, it's a problem. Can be a problem. Maddie says, I'm almost 40. Understand your pain. You know what? After I learned all the Zoomer words, I started learning more things. Did you know they call hot dogs Grizzies or something like that? Or Glizzies? That's so weird to me. But then once I knew, now I understood their weird lingo. Okay, Lotus Field comes way out ahead. Congratulations to Lotus Field. It's the wrong sound effect, but you deserve it anyway. You are part of our Power 9 today. Okay, next up, we've got to vote on Kutzil. Start a poll here. Glizzies is such a weird word, yeah. Skibbity toilets, Ohio. Yeah, they would only know in Ohio. Okay, and this whole top 9 would only exist in Ohio. Kutzil, Bone Crusher Giant. Also, Yorion. And Slick Shot Show Off. This is going to be an interesting one. I think this should be a very interesting vote. So we got Slick Shot Show Off, which is like one of the fastest, most explosive cards in the format, period. Then we got Yorion, where a lot of decks are built around Yorion for blinking value. Not to mention, like, yeah, if you go the distance, wanting for one everybody, you're going to lose to the Yorion deck. Bone Crusher Giant, one of the most... Rakdos, one of the most popular color combinations in the format, and Bone Crusher Giant is definitely a staple in a lot of those archetypes, if not in the main, if in the sideboard. And then Kutsil. Never heard of it until today. Not going to deny, this card looks very, very good. Opponents can't cast spells during your turn, and also when one or more creatures, your opponents, whenever one or more creatures you control, each with power greater than a base power, deal combat damage to a player, we get to draw a card. Use a track from Earthbound? We are using a track from Earth. We have, well, okay, this is a Mother 3 track. Meanwhile, in Standard, we fear the Scamp and the Mouse more than Slickshot somehow. They do have, I think they have the Mouse in Pioneer. That would not be the most dangerous thing to deal with. All right, Slickshot Show Off! Congratulations, Slickshot Show Off. You are Power 9 worthy. So far. All right, next our poll is going to have Boseiju, who shelters all. Sorry, no, sorry, who endures. That's a completely different card. Deathrite Shaman. Remember, there are no fetch lands. You can vote for Deathrite Shaman, but there are no fetch lands in Pioneer. Thoughtseize. Ooh, one of these cards are going to get dealt. It's going to be super dirty. And then Fatal Push. Vote away, my coffee crew. But Lotus Field sees almost no play. What are you talking about? Like a deck made top 8 with Lotus Field. Lotus Field, there's Lotus Field the archetype, like the combo deck, and then there's the Lotus Field control decks. I'll have you know that Lotus Field made the top 8 of a regional championship not long ago. And by not long ago, I mean yesterday. Fatal Push, the best removal spell in Pioneer for 1 mana. Thoughtseize, also probably the best disruption on turn 1. Also, you look at their hand, it's basically the Gitaxian Probe of the format. You'll also lose 2 life anyway. Deathrite Shaman, the 1 mana Swiss Army Mana Dork, which is way less of a mana dork in this format. And Boseiju, with the tap at a green channel, discard Boseiju to destroy artifacts, enchantments, and non-basic lands. Looks like Thoughtseize way out in front. People like their Thoughtseizes here. I'm not gonna lie, Thoughtseize is a damn good card, and Thoughtseize runs away with it. Congratulations, Thoughtseize. Definitely, this card is definitely worthy of being on the Power 9. Now we get to the original. This is actually going to be exactly 9. I didn't even realize that. Okay, the last one to be voted on, and then we're gonna do some re-votes for sure. I'm sure some people want to have some candidates on here and kick some off. Start a poll. Okay, we got Treasure Cruise, Shield Dread, This is so many busted cards on here. The Apocalypse. Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx. This is actually ridiculous. I should have pasted this one big time and then add option. Fable the Mirror Breaker. It's actually possible all 4 of these should be on the list. I don't know how you choose. Fable the Mirror Breaker. Playable in every single format. In fact, Wizards actually considered banning this card in the last BNR announcement. Nykthos Shrine to Nyx. The reason why so many other cards are banned from the Mono Green Devotion deck, so Nykthos can still survive. And despite all the bannings, Mono Green is still a playable deck. Then we have Shieldred the Apocalypse. Basically the one of the more dangerous, easy instant staples for a lot of black decks. You don't kill Shieldred, well, Shieldred will slowly kill you. And then we have Treasure Cruise, literally Ancestral Recall for the format. Pay a blue, draw 3 cards. However, not many decks that actually play this card. So only the Arclight Phoenix decks, but holy crap, do they play it really well. It's basically carrying the deck to victory. Adam is like, we don't even have to vote. Cruise wins. Well, it doesn't seem to be that easy. Looks like Treasure Cruise isn't even remotely winning here. If there is a 12-second lag in the video, there's a 12-second you can't get rid of. Refresh your browser, I guess. That's the best thing I can, I guess I can say. I just tuned in, and these were the 4 that made the final cut. No, these are the 4 that were just last voting. They were the first 4 that were suggested. Shieldred makes the Power 9. All right, is there any... As it stands... Okay, are there any... as it stands, our Power 9 is Shieldred, Thoughtseize, Slickshot Show-Off, Arclight Phoenix, Triomes, Otawara, Elvish Mystic, and Mutavault. Are there any cards that we should re-vote again to go up against the other ones? Gigantha? Gigantha's not that bad, I guess. I don't know if I would consider it Power 9, though. Move to Nikachu's house, least like possible if you watch him from his window, or just right beside me, like my brother does every so often. Bell says, okay, I take it back. Lotus Field sees 5.8% play, but is very important in certain decks. Absolutely. Same thing with Black Lotus. Hey, Black Lotus can be a bad card if you don't play it in a combo deck. Bell says the Wanderer is missing. Vermin says Fable. Fable got done dirty. Okay, let's put Fable back in possible. We'll start a poll. We'll put Fable over, let's say, okay, Mutavault. We have to combine it with something in here. Okay, we'll put Fable with I'm gonna assume these are the weakest. Mutavault. Probably Otawara. That looks ridiculous. And then I suppose we can put Triomes. Now, so this is what's gonna happen. What is Power 9? Lowest percentages kicked out. So you be careful what you vote for. Oh, maybe this is not the way to do it. Okay. I'm going to take it back. If Fable gets voted on, then we will vote. I will do another poll for what is not Power 9. I think that's the only fair way to do this. We should do which is weakest. Well, first, let's see if Fable gets on the scoreboard, which it looks like it is. So if Fable is voted in, then we'll do a revote. I'll do it like Mutavault, Elvish Mystic, Otawara, Triomes, probably. That's probably fair. And then we'll vote out one of them. You voted to kick off Triomes? I mean, lowest percentage gets kicked, not the highest percentage. If it's 0%, Mutavault has 0% right now. We'll do a which is weakest. Yeah, Fable of the Mirror Breaker got done super dirty. Actually, you know what we should do? Okay, okay, so we'll definitely put Fable. I think this top is pretty solid for a Power 9. This bottom 5 is less solid. So we're going to put it, let's put it to the test. Let's put up Mutavault versus... Okay, what cards do you want try to get back on? You should go and look up Pioneer staples and compare this list to that. No, there's no fun in that. It's more fun that this list is going to be created by a bunch of random people making judgments about this format. You want to try Fatal Push again? Shocklands over try. Hey, maybe you're probably right. Treasure Cruise and Dig Through Time not on here. Okay, look at the Fatal Push, Treasure Cruise. Okay, we're gonna stack Mutavault on here. Mutavault. Can't believe Mutavault got on here. And then we'll put Dig Through Time. All right, which is Power 9. And if Mutavault can't stand the heat, Mutavault's getting eliminated. I'm dumping it. We're gonna really manipulate the standings here. Well, Treasure Cruise is getting another chance. Treasure Cruise and Dig Through Time. Well, honestly, Dig Through Time doesn't see a whole lot of play. It does see play, though, but not as much as you would think. It's again, there's no fetch land, so it's harder to enable. And then if you do build an entire deck around fetch land, like building your graveyard, you generally reach for Treasure Cruise. There's like I think there's one Dig Through Time in the Arclight Phoenix decks, but they lean heavily on Treasure Cruise. Oh, Treasure Cruise look like it's gonna win. It's gonna bump you out, Mutavault. You know, you're barely even in contention here. You can't even beat Fatal Push, for crying out loud. And I'm gonna scrap you immediately. You're definitely not making it on. And Treasure Cruise wins it. All right, Treasure Cruise is on the list. Palpatine is very happy with all your voting. Okay, how about another one? What else do you want to get back on this list? You want to try Nykthos again? All right, let's try Nykthos. Nykthos. What else? How on earth is Fable not on this list? Is it still not on? Okay, Fable. It got bumped for more powerful cards. Several times. Several times. Okay, how about we put Nykthos and Fable up against Ottawara and Triomes? And the top two, this is not the greatest way to do this, but the top two are gonna win. Okay, top two get to survive. The bottom two get bumped out. Oh no, Fable is here! We have Fable. What the hell? You people tricked me. Yeah, I got confused. All right, well, Fable doesn't even matter then. People still voting for... People still like Ottawara. Okay, so Nykthos is only going to take up one spot here. Yeah, let's put Fable on here twice. That's exactly what we need to do. Fable is fifth. It's not technically fifth. There's no positioning on these. Yeah, that's funny. Fable can win 2 times in a row. The Power 9 of Pioneer is Fable the Mirror Breaker and Fable of the Mirror Breaker and Shieldred. It's so good we had to put it on there twice. Okay, I think I've seen enough. Nykthos is going to come on and Triomes are going to get bumped out. Okay, what else do we want to have on here? How many cards do we have on here? Is this 9 or more? 8. We have to bump a card out eventually. Once you have 2 Fables on the list, they will copy each other indefinitely. Oh, that is it's quite funny. Put front and back Fable so that no one notices. Yeah, front Fable, back Fable. They're equally powerful in one way or another. Democracy when you're not part of the majority seems dumb like you lost at voting. You like this list? Well, the problem is this list is 10 cards. Okay, we have to dump a card then. We have to dump a card. So, okay, if this... Shieldred should be kicked? You want to... Okay, so we're going to have... What is not Power 9? What is not Power 9 voting off? Because this is... We have to get rid of one. Okay, we have a Shieldred as a candidate. Shieldred. Spectral Maniac says Ottawara. Okay, I actually should see how many people, how often you guys, how strongly do you feel about all these? Treasure should, oh, you mean on the Lotus needs to go? How many people said Lotus? Okay, we'll put Lotus Field. People want to vote out the literally the Black Lotus. You want to put Treasure Cruise on here? It's interesting. Elvish Mystic in everyone's eyes, definitely Power 9. Also, Arclight Phoenix literally goes into one deck. Okay, we'll put. I don't see anyone talking. I don't see anyone very passionate about anything. Okay, we'll put Treasure Cruise on the list. All right, you're voting out one of these cards because we need to squeeze it down to a Power 9. Should be interesting. Oh, Ottawa is out at front. Lotus Field. There are a lot of people. They don't like Nykthos for some reason. And this, I guess this is like the very end. This is it for all the marbles. And it appears to be Lotus Field versus Ottawa. Ottawa, good land. You know, it's not bad. But is it Power 9 versus another land, Nykthos Shrine? Sorry, no, Lotus Field. Versus Lotus Field, the Black Lotus of Pioneer. You literally tap it for 3 mana, and if you can untap it, you're going to break it. But this card, it goes into every deck. How can you play without one? And it bounces anything. Back in my day, you needed to like throw a random boomerang in your deck in order to bounce like problematic like permanents, non-land permanents, that is. Ottawa sees so much play. Yeah, but like, does it see a lot of play because it's like busted, or does it's like that's like saying, well, basic island sees a whole lot of play. You know what I mean? So I mean, those are two different things. And but after 1 minute, Ottawa gets kicked off. Where's Ottawa? Get out of here. You're gone. And that's our Power 9 for today. We've got Shieldred the Apocalypse, Thoughtseize, Slickshot Show Off, Lotus Field, Fable of the Mirrorbreaker, Treasure Cruise, Arclight Phoenix, Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx, and Elvish Mystic. Is it a great list? Would you have made your list any different? Should we now compare this to like what's actually good in Pioneer? How can we find that? Modern, Pioneer. Oh, where's most played cards? I can't remember how you find this thing here. No, I don't know what. Whatever. Would you have done anything differently? Let me know in the comments section below. And as usual, we got to thank everyone. Oh, by the way, if you want to be part of the show, you got to be here weekdays, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. Thanks to everyone who supports the show. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you support the channel through Super Chats, or support the channel so other people, through Super Chats so other people can be part of the show. And thank you, everyone, for being here today, because without all of you, this show would not be possible. We wouldn't have such a great Power 9, thanks to Palpatine and the rest of you. So thank you, Ricardo, Skylar. We've got Bell, Adam, Bryce, Elixir, Spectral Maniac, Grimcore, Benjamin, Nolan, Crowcore Games, Dinglebag, Paulrog, Trip, Pedgeman, Christopher B, because you guys are all you guys are the show. So as usual, my coffee crew, keep brewing them coffees, and we'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next cup.